Hello, good evening. This is one of the news that I saw earlier in the day. I haven't been browsing on Twitter lately or scrolling on Twitter, so it does save me a lot of time. But this is one of the news that I did come across, and it's something that got me interested. The world's first human challenge trial in which volunteers were deliberately exposed to the coronavirus has found that symptoms had no effect on how likely an infected person is to pass the disease on to others. Worth taking a look into this article, which we will right now. So, here is the article. Deliberate infection trial finds COVID symptoms don't indicate viral shedding. Now, what are the details here? April 1, Reuters. The world's first human challenge trial, in which volunteers were deliberately exposed to the coronavirus, has found that symptoms had no effect on how likely an infected person is to pass the disease on to others. The findings underscore the difficulty in preventing community infections as the World Health Organization (WHO) warns of a rise in cases. The research project, run by Open Orphan with Imperial College London, showed that among the 18 participants that caught COVID-19, the severity of symptoms, or whether they developed symptoms at all, had nothing to do with the viral load in their airways. Now, this does go against something I have heard earlier about asymptomatic transmission, that if there are no symptoms, there is no transmission. A few doctors have said that, doctors I've come across on Twitter, but this is an actual trial which contradicts that statement. Not that I'm happy to continue reading or focusing on COVID-19, but this is the ongoing pandemic. And I still think that the news focuses a lot on one subject because there are so many other subjects. Of course, if I go back to Reuters Health, there are going to be some of the subjects, some of the topics, but actually, thus far, it's all about COVID-19 and coronavirus. This is about Sanofi and about Hong Kong. So that's mostly the news. Something about Walgreens. Governments want COVID vaccine developers to aim higher in hunt for better shots. German drug maker Bayer. So there is some other news, but of course it's predominantly about COVID-19. Well, getting back to the article. The viral load or tendency to shed the virus was measured by two methods known as focus forming assay (FFA) and quantitative polymerase chain reaction (qPCR). There was no correlation between the amount of viral shedding by qPCR or FFA and symptom score, the researchers said in paper published by scientific journal Nature Medicine. They should have linked to Nature. I might have taken a look. The Imperial trial exposed 36 healthy young adults without a history of infection or vaccination to the original SARS-CoV-2 strain of the virus and monitored them in a quarantine setting. Since 2 volunteers were found to have had antibodies against the virus after all, they were excluded from the analysis. Slightly more than half of them contracted the virus, No serious adverse events occurred, and the human challenge study model was shown to be safe and well tolerated in healthy young adults, the research team had said earlier this year. So that's good. That they're simply saying that yes, there is infection, and it doesn't depend how much the viral load is, but that would determine the transmission. But eventually it's seen that of those who were in the study, and it was, of course, supervised, so if something went wrong, in case with any of these healthy young adults, there was a research team that was overlooking or overseeing this. So, but no serious adverse events. That's good. So, like it's always been said, for the vast majority, it's not something to worry about. But again, the thing that has been observed, that those who appear to be healthy on the outside may not necessarily be healthy on the inside. If there's something wrong with their internal organs, that's where the human health comes from, not the way one looks on the outside. Then an infection with SARS-CoV-2 could become more serious depending on which internal organs are affected. So this was linked from that article. This was on February 17, 2021. So the news said then, I might have read this, maybe I didn't. Britain became the first country in the world on Wednesday to give the go-ahead for human challenge trials in which volunteers will be deliberately exposed to COVID-19 to advance research into the disease caused by the novel coronavirus. So it seems that this is even before the Delta variant came about. The trial, due to start within a month, will see up to 90 healthy volunteers aged between 18 and 30 exposed to the smallest amount of the virus needed to cause infection. Scientists behind the plans told reporters at a news briefing. Volunteers will be screened for possible health risks before being allowed to take part and kept in quarantine for close monitoring by medical staff for at least 14 days in a specialist unit at London's Royal Free Hospital. The absolute priority, of course, is the safety of volunteers, said Peter Openshaw, a professor of experimental medicine at Imperial College London, which is co-leading the project with the UK government's Vaccines Task Force and the clinical company hVivo. None of us wants to do this if there is any appreciable risk. So I'll upload this video to YouTube, and I would put the links for the tweet by Reuters Health and these two news articles. And this would be part of the record that I keep of the news and research about COVID-19. And hopefully this would be useful. It is very useful. This is a natural infection because it goes in line with natural immunity. And this is something that has been on the minds of people for a long time. And it's good to know what the results are. Good. I'll upload this. Hopefully, if you come across this video, this will be useful to you as well. Thank you for your time. Goodbye. Enjoy your day.